Could this go down as one of the worst trades in Bay Area sports history? The Rafael Devers deal?
It's one of them.
888-957-9570. Or are we overreacting? I don't think we can't overreact, guys. It's been a year. He's a 230 hitter. That's what he is. You traded your top pitching prospect away, one of your first overall pick.
If I took Trey Lance off the board, what's the worst trade?
Sam and I were just doing this back here. It's like you guys are listening to us.
No, we asked you a question.
Weren't listening
you
to
weren't
us.
listening to us because we asked you guys a question and talked to you guys for about 60 seconds.
To you, and
then you guys weren't looking and you're talking to each other.
Laughing at each other.
Oh, well, we're really sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Way to be locked
We were just saying really funny things back here. Carter's a funny guy.
Okay. Is this Rafael Devers trade?
This is my crew.
A top 3 worst
Casually
trade in the
listen.
Bay Area sports in the last 5-10 years. However you want to put it.
Yes.
No, not even close?
I can't name anything in the last 25 years besides Trey Lance. Can you?
Yeah, the Jordan Poole trade was bad.
Yeah, but Jordan Poole was never like a number 1 guy. He was never looked at as a tier A.
No, but
he was
beloved. He was beloved.
Who cares?
Well, Rafael Devers is never going to be beloved here.
Well, and hold on. Another piece of this, too, is I might even take the Trey Lance one off because, like...
DeForest Buckner?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's a good one. I might take the Trey Lance one off because when you made that trade, knew you were not trading for a proven commodity.
That's true.
Like, there was always risk involved. When you made the Rafael Devers trade, you assumed that you were trading for a guy who was absolute plug and play.
You guys say 20 years. It's a long time. So for Giants fans, I'm just going to go Giants fans. If you're going to say 20 to 25 years, right, give or take, since 2000, let's just say since 2000, clean cut. I mean, there's a bunch of ones. Like, they made a bunch of bad trades. The A.J. Przinsky one-year deal was awful. He grounded into more double plays than anyone. They gave an elite closer to the Minnesota Twins and a starter. I believe Francisco Liriano was a part of that deal.
And Joe Nathan.
That was the elite closer. I was
saying his name.
I believe Joe Roa was also a part of that, or was that Booth Bonser?
Booth Bosner,
okay.
Yes. Great name.
And then, yeah, it was a bad deal. I mean, there's just no other way around.
The reason I don't know if the Przinsky one is it, Joe, because that one, like, they were stuck with Przinsky for 1 year, though. Like,
I know, but you literally gave Minnesota like the core of a team that would go on to have great years. Johan and Liriano were elite together. And Joe Nathan, I think he was an all-star back-to-back years.
He was one of the best closers in the American League during that decade.
Another trade, the Zach Wheeler trade for Beltran. Yeah. Also a rental situation. And my argument was always like, Wheeler didn't really develop until 6 or 7 years later.
Exactly.
And really pop until he got to the Phillies, which was 2 years or 2 teams away.
And the Giants 6 or 7 years later, as we've seen the last decade, were mediocre where they've been. Like, I don't know if Zach Wheeler is going to be the difference of the next 10 years. Now, would it have helped? Sure. But like that era, they won 3 World Series. So you saw the vision. I don't hate the Beltran deal.
And then like Brian Reynolds from McCutcheon. And I think Brian Reynolds is a little overrated, but I think a lot of people would agree that was like, I wanted McCutcheon, but that was a bad deal. The other one that comes to mind is Matt Moore for Duffy. Yeah. Right? But Matt Moore had moments.
Pitch well down the stretch in 16.
Did.
Was great in Game 4.
Across the Bay, we could do the Khalil Mack trade, obviously.
It's going across the Bay. It's
almost felt like
the Cespedes trade.
Cespedes.
Yeah, it's the
Cespedes and John Lester. Antonio Brown trading for him. But they didn't give up a first-round pick, so I don't even hate that one. He was just, it was the 3rd and the 5th, I think. And it was like, hey, it was paying him on top of it, which was the worst part.
The original D'Angelo acquisition, the original Kelly Oubre trade, because it was kind of, I believe, a sign-and trade with their exemption, because of their injury exemption.
But the D'Angelo one, you got a pick back.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the original D'Angelo acquisition.
Okay.
Dennis Schroeder.
Well, Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, well, Dennis Schroeder seemed like he produces on every other team except for the Golden State Warriors.
I mean, is the Kristaps trade good?
That could be trending in that direction. If he walks for nothing.
But Devers, I think the difference between all of these deals and the Devers deal is that the guy you received is now on a massive contract.
Well, and also the guys that got sent out, I'm glad you brought up the Minnesota Twins one, which makes this Devers deal trade maybe worse than those other ones, is that Harrison is balling and Tibbs could now be flipped from the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And I get it. People are going to say, whoa, that was the Red Sox mistake. No. You gave up on those players. You clearly didn't see the vision. You wanted to bring in Rafael Devers because you thought he was going to be the missing link, and it hasn't worked out. So I'm not going to let them slide just because the Red Sox move off of them. I don't think the Giants are allowed to skate by because Kyle Harrison has been a baller. And I do think that reflects poorly on the Giants in a way. And I know we had Dave Fleming on last week. He's going to join us at 8:20. He was saying it was more injuries when Harrison was here. He was never fully healthy and couldn't really develop. He had some moments. But I just think developmentally, they haven't been able to get anyone since Logan Webb in this system to be a true starter. Now we're seeing potentially Trevor McDonald and Landon Root be those guys. And I hope they can be those guys. They got a long way to go, though. And Robbie Ray, they're probably going to move off of him. They need a number 2 guy. Wizen Hunt, So in that respect, it's been
made some bad trades. Going through this list.
Yes.
But they've also hit on some great trades. Hunter Pence was a great trade. Matt Williams was a great trade. I mean, that's going before 2000, but they've had Jason Schmidt was a great trade.
Cody Ross.
Yeah, they've had, that was more of a claim. They claimed him.
That's true. That's technically.
He was on waivers. They blocked the Dodgers from getting him.
That's true.
The guy they traded for was Jose Guillen, who got popped for roids and then couldn't make the postseason roster, which elevated Cody Ross. That's always one of my
They have a couple of those, too. Melky Cabrera. There you go. Just not being able to. He was so good that year.
Was Brad Penny a trade?
Brad Penny.
When they brought in Brad Penny, is that a trade?
I feel like that was a signing. Let me double check, though.
Brad Penny. Now, that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
World Series champion, Dan Uggla.
Oh, dude, it's just his vision. If you just get him the glasses,
Dude had more errors than hits and still got a ring.
I remember him and Paris Harrelson had the same commercial.
He cleared waivers, by the way, Brad Penny, and signed with the Giants. That's what it was.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Dr. Bindi commercials. Remember back in the day, Paris Harrelson?
Craig Bindi?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the LASIK eye surgery.
Yeah.
There you go. I've been thinking about doing that.
My eyes have peppercorns in them. That was Paris Harrelson. And he did it in like a southern... God, I think he passed away, so God rest his soul.
None of you guys wear glasses, right? I'm the only one. Carter, Sam.
You wear glasses?
Yeah, I wear contacts, but I wear glasses, too.
I didn't even know that.
I've had to wear glasses in 2nd grade. But none of you guys do? I've been always
that
thinking
explains a lot.
What are you trying to say?
Just saying it explains a lot.
What does it explain that I have to wear glasses and contacts?
Explains a lot.
You're calling out a lot of people right now. You better be careful.
Oh, no, just you.
You know what? You're really getting under my skin right now. Just like the Giants. They're getting under my skin. This team. Hey, Buster, admit your mistake. Admit your mistakes now. I will allow you to keep the job and reset this thing, retool this thing. AJ Preller did it. He realized his mistakes after bringing in Craig Kimbrell, bringing in the Upton brothers, bringing in, Yasmani Grandal. That's a name you haven't heard in a minute. Matt Kemp, all those guys. Will Myers, he admitted his mistakes when the team wasn't good.
Will Myers would play 150 games for the Giants right now?
I loved Will Myers. He was really good. But he
had moments.
He just couldn't stay healthy. Yeah. The 250 career hitter, 156 home runs. Felt like he played well against the Giants. No?
We brought up all these bad trades. Yeah, he had moments against the Giants. Kelly Oubre is a guy, and I've referenced this with Devers. There is an Oubre-like quality to Devers. He just feels something. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, but Oubre, went at Nick.
Almost like
Friedel,
defiantly, I'm just going to do what I do, whether you guys like it or not.
I don't know who Rafi Devers is as a person. I could kind of feel who Kelly Oubre was because he spoke to the media a bunch. Yeah. It's hard for me to gauge because Rafi's like a guy, he's out of sight, out of mind. He doesn't want to be the center of attention. And this is another part. Can you be a $300+ million player and not be the center of attention for a franchise? Don't you kind of have to be out in the open and in the public? Don't you kind of have to be the face a little bit?
I'm trying to think of who would be in...
He's you get what I'm saying? He's kind of skating by a little bit. When you're getting paid that much money, there are certain expectations you have to, live up to. And he's not doing that. And whether that's on the organization for the Giants not propping him up in the right way, whether that's a Rafi Devers thing saying, I don't want to be in the spotlight, it's just not a good look, especially when he's struggling the last year like he's been doing. All right, let's go. Turn on your mic.
Let's go overall value on their contracts, okay? Juan Soto.
Are we getting him just a plus or a minus?
No. Face of the organization on and off the field. I see Juan Soto getting interviewed a lot. Juan Soto, whether we like him or not, is he? It's the highest contract in baseball. $765
million. Is he the
million.
face of the franchise? What are you asking?
You were just going through a checklist of Rafi Devers. Can he be the highest paid guy and he's not this, and this?
Soto is the face of the Mets. He is the guy.
Sure.
He is up there. He's answering questions constantly.
Yes.
I will give him that.
On
yes.
and off the field.
Yes. Now, do I think he should be the face of a franchise? That's a different question, but he is.
He is. Okay, what about Shohei? He's the second largest contract, $700 million.
He's getting interviewed constantly through his interpreter. He's out there. He's the face. He's on every single billboard.
Okay.
He likes the attention, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr., $500 million. By the way, I think Arise and him have the same OPS right now.
Wow. Vlad, absolutely. Big smile on his face. He is a guy that you want to be the face of the organization. Yes.
Mike Trout.
Yeah, Mike, his personality will tell you he's just kind of boring, but he's always out there doing interviews.
I see him get interviewed a lot.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts.
Oh, yeah. He's one of them. The Dodgers have a couple of these guys.
He's understated. He's on a lot of podcasts.
A lot of podcasts. He's a good guy, good dude by all accounts. They got Freddie Freeman, I think it's the same way.
Yeah. All right. Aaron Judge, $360 million.
Absolutely. He is the face of New York sports, quite frankly, until Jalen Brunson and company win the title. Or if they win the title, but Aaron Judge is New York sports right now.
Manny Machado, $350.
Yep. Hey, did we get that sound, by the way? Manny Machado getting mad about all these new different, stats and F-whip and all that stuff. He was very upset. Maybe he's just
batting like 176.
Well, that's why he's upset, because they're finding all these new stats where he's just not performing very well.
I hate my numbers too if they were all bad.
Now we go into some of the minutia here. Francisco Lindor, also on the Mets, making $341 million.
Yeah, I feel like again, I'm not knee deep in Mets baseball in the New York media cycle.
He does talk.
He talks, but I do think he's getting somewhat of the pass now that he's, doubled up in salary with Juan Soto.
I would agree. But at a time, he was their face.
And you know what? I'll give this. He has performed in the postseason for them at some point.
Yeah, he had a monster second half last year. Fernando Tatis Jr., $340 million.
Yeah. I think he answers interviews. He does questions. He was supposed to be the next guy after Machado. And I don't know with Tatis. He started off so high, and he's been so
I know.
Since.
What about Bryce Harper?
Yeah, Bryce checks all the boxes.
All right, Yamamoto, $325 million. 12-year deal. That is I still can't get over that deal.
I think when I say Dodgers, is Yamamoto one of the first three names that comes to mind? No.
But they have two guys making more money than him.
Yeah.
All right. Texas Rangers, their highest paid players, Corey Seager, $325 million, 10-year deal.
He's been hurt a lot too for them, but he did show up when it mattered most and helped them win a World Series. Corey Seager, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stan and Cole, they're both on the same team, the Yankees. One makes $325, the other makes $324. They're, I would say, second, third in command to a guy like
they are second
Aaron
and
Judge.
third. But you know what? I'll give the starting pitcher and the ace of a pitching staff for the New York Yankees, I think, matters a lot. And Garrett Cole, he speaks to the media. He shows up. He talks to them. It hasn't been all sunshines and rainbows for Garrett Cole. Remember, I brought up the reference the other day when they were playing the Red Sox in that series when he hands the ball off to Boone. He's like, I got nothing left. Like, it was a bad look in Fenway Park.
Yeah.
But you know what? He showed up for them. He's been a Cy Young. I think he's lived up to that contract, and I think he's lived up to being the leader of that pitching staff. He has.
Rafael Devers at $313 million.
Don't even think about him as being the face of the franchise and checking any of those boxes.
But I think the common theme is that the guys that don't are usually second, third, or fourth contracts of that size on a team, whereas he's number one.
Exactly.
You know, Bobby Witt Jr., I'm just going to give you some of the other ones. Bobby Witt Jr., clearly the leader of the Royals.
Yeah.
Nolan Arenado, I mean, he signed his deal so long ago, but $260 million. Is he the leader of the Diamondbacks?
Corbin
no,
Carroll.
but he's got great stature. Anthony Rendon is on this list.
He's still in the league, technically? Oh, my God. No, they had Mike Trout, so it was okay. The Angels have had a couple of those in the past, right? You think of Hamilton, you think of Pujols, right? And then thankfully they got Mike Trout, so he was the guy, yeah.
So it's interesting exercise as you look at some of the guys who are the top paid guys on their team. I mean, he really does stick out as the guy who's probably the least, forefront guy of all those guys that mentioned.
By the way, late on this, apologies. It's time to drip out dad for Father's Day. The code word, today's word, coach. Today's word, coach. As in your dad could often coach you up in life. That's what Rick Brunson is to his son Jalen on the Knicks staff. Go to 957thegame.com and click on the Father's Day contest page and enter the code word, and you will be registered to win a $500 gift card to the Golden State store so that you can trip out dad for Father's Day. And if you missed that word, don't worry. Willard and Dibs got your back at around 4:30 there. So you got to be listening starting at 4:30. 888-957-9570. I think it's time. We got to have the conversation. We've been having it all morning about Rafi Devers, almost coming up on a year to the date of that trade. And it has not gone well for the San Francisco Giants. It has not gone well for Rafael Devers. Let's just call it what it is. It has been a whiff thus far. Can he salvage it? Sure. Am I betting on Rafi Devers living up to this contract at this point? No. Can he ever live up to this contract as a San Francisco Giant at this point? I'd ask that question, 888-957. How can he?
Well, I mean, the Zito people in my comments will say that, you win one World Series game with him and it wipes away 9 years of misery.
Yeah,
so
that's so hard. Pitching's different, though, right?
I agree.
It's so different.
I agree.
You have to produce.
We're not unanimous in that conversation either.
David Sampson, former president of the Miami Marlins, joined us a couple weeks ago. Nothing Personal podcast, Meadowlark Media. And he's worried that Buster won't admit he was wrong on some of these big-time signings and trades.
Sometimes admitting you're wrong is really hard, so you double down and then triple down. And what I'm worried for the Giants is that Buster Posey is so invested in his theories, his plan, his way, that includes the manager, it includes the signings, it includes the way he operates, that he will not yet admit it was wrong. And when you're not willing to admit it's wrong, then you can't be on the road to fixing it.
Will he admit his mistakes is kind of the question we're also asking this morning. 888-957-9570. I'm allowing Buster to admit his mistake if I'm a Giants fan and retool and rebuild this thing. If you could move off some of these big-time contracts, will it be difficult? Sure. Will you have to take on another bad contract potentially? Maybe. Will you have to eat a lot of salary? Absolutely. But that's how you do this thing. You tear it down a little bit, bring in some prospects, try to go through the MLB pipeline. You could absolutely use the offseason to add to the bullpen, try to bring in another pitcher. Just because you're admitting defeat on certain contracts now, Joe, doesn't mean you can't still go out and get other big contracts down the line. I already explained. This is the same situation with the San Diego Padres a decade plus ago in 2014, 2015, and they admitted their mistakes. And yeah, did they have to eat it for a couple seasons? They did. But you know what they reaped after that? Guys like Tatis, brought in Machado, brought in Eric Hosmer, who never quite lived up to that contract, but I do think he signaled kind of a turning of the tides within that organization. He was successful, obviously, with the Royals, going to back-to-back World Series, winning one there. He's a Gold Glove player. He was a leader kind of for that franchise, along with Alex Gordon. And I thought that set the tone for what the Padres became after that. So it can be done if you admit your mistakes sooner rather than later.
We have 200 people that have voted in the YouTube chat.
Ooh, what's the poll?
The poll is, will Rafi Devers be on the Giants in 5 years?
I'm going, it's going to say 80% no.
80% no.
Wow, look at me.
Almost on the button.
Cha-ching. Let's go. I don't even have it up here. You can look over if you want. Wow. God, could you imagine?
If we would have said that a year ago, we would be going like, no way.
I know the anniversary.
No way.
I know we'll probably do more on Monday when it's the actual anniversary, Sam and Carter. I do want to give you a homework assignment in the back. The day after, because it happened on a Sunday, can we find some of the takes that we had on Rafi Devers? I'm not asking you today to do it, guys. This is a homework assignment for the next couple. I do want to replay some of them on Monday, though, because a lot can change in a year. A lot can change. Remember we did this experiment last year with Jimmy Butler, after he got hurt and all the different stuff that we were talking about? Oh, man. Man.
It's not all on him, but he certainly is a guy that they need to be a catalyst. And outside of the month of May, has he truly been a catalyst in any other month? Like, I'm talking about lead the way, everyone get on my back, let's go.
No.
I mean, Casey's had as many months where he said, get on my back and let's go, than Devers has in a Giants uniform. That's kind of crazy.
How much is Casey Schmidt making?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
870,000.
Exactly. Less than $1 million is what he's making. Casey Schmidt will be lucky to make as much as Rafael Devers is making just this season alone in his career. He's making 30.
So I was always thinking about kind of the contracts that you don't do. You know, we talk a lot about like all the moves that the Giants did make.
And real quick, last 15 games for Rafael Devers, batting 194. Continue.
So Corbin Burns, they wanted Corbin Burns.
The Giants.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would it have been better off if, like, I'm in terms of perception, hey, we signed Corbin Burns last offseason, right?
Yeah.
To $200 million as opposed to acquiring Devers, and he just has had the arm injuries. I think he's only a dozen starts, give or take, for Arizona. And I mean, you're getting nothing for him, and he's just hurt. Is that a better kind of? Would that have been better for how we discuss Buster Posey than this Devers deal? Meaning you paid for someone on the open market and the guy just got hurt.
Yes, there would be an excuse factor built in there, whether you think it's legit or not. Like I could argue and I could rationalize as a fan saying, you know what? I think we're all doing that contract. Sucks he got hurt, but he's one of the best starting pitchers for a very long time. And at least, Joe, we didn't have to give up any prospects
that's
or
a good point.
big
but
league
if you
players.
sign him in free agency, you do give up a second-round comp pick.
Sure, but you know
whatever it was.
But you're not giving up Tibbs and you're keeping Harrison.
Yes, not guys that you've already had in your system.
Exactly. And then you can rationalize like, hey, if Kyle Harrison turned to what he turned into with Milwaukee, let's just hypothetically we're playing.
Yeah.
You'd have him, Webb, and then just wait till Corbin Burns comes back, guys. That's a three-headed monster. Then you're cooking with something. You can at least rationalize that with the fan. What are you hopeful for right now if you're a Giants fan? Bryce Eldridge? Okay. I'm absolutely hopeful with that. Jung-Hoo Lee? Okay. I could talk myself into that. Am I hopeful? Like a Casey Schmidt? Okay. A little bit. Outside of that, pitching-wise, it's Logan Webb and maybe. I like Landon Root, but do I love him? I don't know.